Okay, this is part 3, Shoot the Wind Buffalo Bay. It's March the 12th, 2023. 2026. um, okay, so the lighting changes with this camera, and so I just go with the flow. So, part 3, um, getting back. So, to what I was saying is, with Elon Musk, I did not even know that there was a car named Tesla until the end of 2022, 2023. That's and then when the information of him buying Twitter came about, I was like, okay, um, I still acknowledge I'm your wife, but I thought about how he might wonder who is this person with. See, I'm excluding that he possibly has a telepathic code, and he knows about mentalism, and he's able to plant thoughts and force engage, and he has humanoid AI that can manipulate the tablet. I'm excluding all that, but just keeping it um, through the physical plane, wondering who is this woman that just if he comes across my app, who is this woman that says she's married to this man named Sheikh Dwayne Bafube? And here's the history, but yet here are the videos. He has acknowledged that he knows her. He's putting a video at hashtag and so forth of her, and then he erased it. She's saying that they're arguing. It's obvious they're arguing. Nonetheless, I didn't want to go through this situation with you again, because whoever you're involved with after we consummated our vows is your wife and your partner, um, made you scream a little bit louder that night. I'm keeping it 100. Those were my thoughts, and or whatever, and made you talk your sacred talk to her, and she spoke her talk to you or whatever, and the spell or the magic spell that she put on you is working, and you were screaming it loud. Those were my thoughts, but I knew I was your wife, so I didn't want the page to be deleted, because it wasn't just information about you and I, and me talking to the National Grand Sheet about you and so forth. It was also a history of experiences spiritually and mentally and physically I experienced here in Annapolis. So with him obviously knowing the knowledge of Tesla, and him having electric cars, automatically I had respect, and I thought very well of him, very, very well. I was amazed. I was really amazed. I even, when I spoke to my aunt, I said this, I think I said this on another video. I asked her, I said, have you ever heard of Elon Musk? She was like, yeah, I've heard of him. He's the guru, the billionaire. I was like, really? I said, when did you hear about him? I was on the phone and she was explaining, and I was like, I was just so amazed how long he's been known, and I just found out about him and the car Tesla. And then she was like, my neighbor just brought a Tesla so not too long ago, and so forth. But nonetheless, that was, but I didn't even have the thought to even do videos to explain who I am to Elon Musk until there seemed to be some form of separation between you and I, as in thoughts, implied because of her, or if there's a her, that came after the consummation between you and I as wife and partner. Because in the spirit of truth, because I am dealing with the spirit of truth, and I am law, when you're dealing with innocence of the mind, which at that time I was and still is in knowledge, and two beings consummate their vows together to a point where you are actually saying, act like you are my wife. We are in a mental plane demonstrating ourselves as such. Whether you are bored or not, the spirit of truth is still, the spirit of truth is still there. She's still there. Whether the other one, whether she exists or not, in my thoughts, she don't. It will always be that way, Sheikh Dwayne Baffoe. Not because of pride, it's because of cleanliness. See, I see an unclean spirit around her that is connected to you. I don't see a clean spirit or energy. Now, if she is that to you, that's a sacrifice you are truly making. Because I already see, I already know. And not because of, at one time I was very upset how obviously she knew things, and she seemed, if this was her, I don't even know for a fact, was heartless, and along with other sheikesses that support her and sheiks. But that's not even the case anymore. It is the case. No, I'm going to say it is part of it, but it's not as big as me grasping the full truth of what really is happening, and what really is the betrayal, and those who have betrayed natural law, and the abuse and war upon natural law and natural beings. All that is pure, all that is innocent. That is really what I am embracing and bringing forth to you now in these 3 videos. March 12th, 2026. Because when an innocent mind, which I have I had my conscience not reopened. I had my consciousness had changed, and I gave you the experience of the woman who looked similar to me when my consciousness changed, and the black dot and so forth. So I awoke. I did not awake and start having sex with someone else or people, or went back to having sex with people that I had sex with. I awoke and start implementing celibacy because I needed to cleanse. I awoke because there was an innocence, and my frequency of my higher self was so high, and sex was the last thing on my mind. But when I came across you, and more again, because in North Carolina, I did see your page, but I was searching for a way to file my papers. I didn't connect with you on that level because I just like, okay, it's that's so forth. But I don't know how long you were checking me out. I don't know. I don't know. I know that I did see your page a few times. It wasn't until North Carolina where thoughts of you in that manner came about in the Washita house. And when I saw you, then I started to have urges to meet with you on that level of companionship in North Carolina, where Prophet Noble Jew Ali was born. 1886. So I hope it was then I just thought I began to have thoughts of you in that manner. And I remember the first night, one of the first nights, I thought I saw you, and if I remember correctly, excuse me, you confirmed it was you. It was in my room, and you were trying to seduce me, and I was like, no. I knew I had a feeling. I just knew it was you, and your presence was very strong. It was something that I was not. It took a lot of me to say no, but I said no. Then when we combined, when we connected, I was ready to, and I did, and I was happy to do it. And I said, but then afterwards, I guess because I never done it in that manner before. Anyway, I'm getting off such. I apologize. Okay, hold on. Um, I apologize. Hold on. I apologize. Excuse me. Let me bring back forth the frequency I was on. Nonetheless, when we had our when I followed you around in the sacred mental growth to consummate our vows as partner, and I was around hooded individuals where you could not see their face, but I knew it was you. You made it known it was you in many times, in many ways. And we started to do different acts of bonding with our hands to consummate our vows, blood bonding vows, in many ways, so that we wouldn't be separated. So, and so much where it was spoke of in a form, in a way, before the conference call that it's like asking us to stop. So, and it was because I think we knew that there would be a time where separation would be easier to do than staying together, especially if that which is angry and betrayed and so forth see further in the future of the possibility of a change that they will not be included in. So if there's another woman, a fairy, whatever, it's not it's just her spirit is not clean. If you think her spirit is clean, then I ask you to question yourself, because I don't think her spirit is clean, and I have reason to through the spirit of truth that the energy is not clean there. If you find her energy to be clean, then I think not just you question yourself, but then I question, because cleanliness is more than just not having an STD or cleaning your apartment or eating the right foods. Is okay. All that comes together in cleanliness, as um, eating the right foods. If you are heal yourself from any illnesses, sicknesses, as much as possible because of your body being a temple. Also, through acts and behavior and thoughts. Your thoughts of morality and integrity and divinity is a form of cleanliness and truth. Removing forms of jealousy, deceit, harm, viciousness, malice, um, low frequency witchcraft. All that energy is unclean. Blood sacrifice, doing ritual blood sacrifice and sex to gain a certain form of bonding that is included in harming another. That's unclean energy. And I'm going to leave the door open to possibly none of this happen. But if it has, and until I know for a fact, and even if I didn't know for a fact, at this point, I would never accept her. Because you dealt with an innocent mind, an innocent essence that did not have access to knowledge or recall knowledge. I was still remembering. And because of that, I allowed so much was done in a deceitful manner upon me because of lack of knowledge of what I was among and the witchcraft Moors that have betrayed their covenants can do. So I'm just going to leave it at that, and you will go with the flow with that. So I will flow with that. And I'm going to tell you this, Sheet the Wayne Bay. At this point, I'm bringing it back forth to the frequency of what really is important. Because all this uncleanliness and through acts of behavior and thoughts is all connected to betraying natural law. And the connection is with that which is in a low frequency that has war upon the earth and us for years, and we did not know that we were being warred upon. It is all connected to doing the most abomination acts of transforming humans, removing consciousness, cloning, creating White Walkers. Is that what they call them, White Walkers? The Walking Dead? All that is connected. All that energy is all connected. Because it's all mixed in the distilling and deceiving of innocence and betraying of natural law. From abusing, killing, murdering, stealing innocence of children who did not know, who were separated from their parents or with their parents, or their parents who did not know, young adults, elderly, the mind of innocence, stealing, killing, and abusing that purity, that innocence, natural law. So I'll leave it at that. And I clarified and said what I had to say. And when I said I would give you a divorce, That's dealing with free will. That is. And because the level of frequency that I am aiming for is all about freedom and free will, and becoming a true more. And if I have to force a man, now it could be other reasons why, like that's why I leave the door open for the unseen. But if I have to force a man to rise up in frequency of natural law with, and he is already advanced in knowledge, as in force, as in saying, which I can't force, let me say that, but um um demonstrate a form of calling out what is lawful over and over again, and really he just wants to be, gone. Why would I stop that? That means something is in the frequency for him to go. And possibly I'm allowing, and he may be allowing fear to stop it. So the door is open. The only when I came back and started um, addressing you is through frequency and knowing that you are trying to stay connected in love. In love. But that doesn't mean that I have to mix my energy with yours, Sheikh Dwayne Bafube, until you cleanse yourself. It's more than just eating greens and not eating meat and being on raw fruits and vegetables. It's more than that. In meditation, it's more than that, even though I know all that is definitely included. It's more than knowing the science. It's it is something when a person is able, or sheik or sheikess is able to be informed with all these sciences and still cannot ascend, because they are wrapped up in an energy field of harm that they have done and still is bonded to. That is a curse. They have cursed themselves. And with the harm that exists in this day and time, now it makes sense why Prophet Noble Drew Ali spoke the words he spoke. According to the booklet, Moors will fall for the last time. So when I was speaking to Elon Musk through Twitter, I would see visuals, not saying it was him, appear a lot of times. And the visuals, because it could be the government, the United States government and other governments are able to plant visuals. Just like I was seeing visuals of Trump, like literally invading my thoughts. They are able to plant visuals. But could be a form of deceit. And not saying it wasn't him. All I'm saying is this is what I experienced. And I experienced energies to watch vampire movies a lot. But I was also missing you. And before growing up, I've always been attracted to vampire movies. That wasn't something new. I've always been attracted to vampire movies, and that energy. It could have been a download through the governments, but I was definitely wrapped up in vampire movies and werewolf movies, or wolf movies. I should say mostly wolf. The werewolf movies, like but they could be a little scary. But it was the wolf, that wolf energy. I really like the wolf movies, but um, so I would see a visual Elon, and he would that looked to be him. It definitely looked like him. Not saying it was that person, and that person would be like saying that he is a more um, 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 offering different, making different offerings and so forth, different suggestions, different offerings. And now I see, so at the time, because of our experiences, and um, we had seemed like a separation where, like I just spoke of, I don't know what exactly happened, but you weren't completely gone, but I was irritated as well. And and when I came across the knowledge of Elon, and it just sort of came about just like that during that separation. So it's odd, because if someone could say an entity was watching and seeing when the best time to engage with me, because definitely it happened that quick of me learning about Tesla. And then he also brought Twitter. So I was like, if there is a such thing of mentalism, I would want to connect and learn more from this, because I really thought well of him. And I never disregard our marriage or who we are together, or not, I shouldn't say marriage, obligation, sheet Dwayne Balfour. But I definitely wanted to know who he was. And when these visuals of him kept appearing, and me once again um, not being knowledgeable of all aspects, um, I truly didn't know, but I knew I was experiencing these things. So I'm not saying they were Trump, I'm not saying they were Elon, but I would say that an entity could have been definitely stalking, watching, and waiting for the right time. Because my mind, like many natural beings, mine, many celestial natural beings, we have different dimensions, um, and we are able to go and connect with other elementals, other beings, other cosmic beings. So to connect in that level, and deceive or somehow seduce or manipulate, maybe because I was irritated and feeling sad, could have been a good opening for an entity to work its way in. So when I realized that I said that, even if it wasn't him, I just wanted to make it clear and say. And when I realized, when she Dwayne, you and I were um, back on the same page, I remember you were serious about the disconnect of whatever visual that I was experiencing that could be or could not be um, of Elon. You were very serious about disconnecting, and I was like, okay. I mean, you know, I was like, I mean, I am your wife, and so the reason why you were serious is because I am your wife, and what made you scream and yell was possibly, if that's the case, wasn't worth was not worth what you thought it was going to be worth. And it will take a witchcraft of some sort for you to go back and continue of low frequency. That's what I think happened, but I could be wrong, because you definitely came back full force and strong. So I put a message out on Twitter saying, um, Mr. Elon, intermentalism, I disconnect, you know. So he can think if the real Elon is there, he probably like, this woman is she crazy? Okay, there's a lot of weirdos on Twitter. That's not harmless. She thought she had some form of connection. Now she know. Okay, so that's done and over. There's no if, ands, buts about it. There's no reason for um, if that was Elon to connect with me or Trump. Okay, because I never even connected with Trump on that level or Elon if there was a connection. But I'm not saying it was. It could be once again a deceitful entity. Um, then I thought it was odd. There was a tweet on under his Elon at Elon said I am a vampire. Elon, I'm saying that implying that it was Elon Musk tweeting this. I am a vampire. I thought it was odd. Plus, I just thought it would, and I that's when I said, um, I started laughing because I was I remember or trying to shrug it off as not being so serious because I didn't once again be because I didn't want to be the camera froze. I didn't want it to be I realized how I spoke about the blood bonding between me and Sheik Dwayne Bey and how it wasn't like a vampirous situation. It was definitely on a different level. Um, and so of bonding with as two partners came together to consummate their vows. But I thought of and I was surprised because I didn't think you would or that tweet of a person, which it could not been him. It could be someone that's saying at Elon, but it's not really Elon. I don't know. I just wanted to make sure. I was thinking it was him at the time, but I just because I was following him, I just sort of just said this is odd. You coming out saying this, and I think I made it like a joke or whatever. But nonetheless, I don't, I think I said what I had to say about Elon Musk and where I stand with Elon Musk and Trump now. So there's no need for a connection with him on that level. And also, I was all of a sudden see a lot of Teslas. I mean, a lot of Teslas were driving around this area constantly. I mean, through these past years, 2 years. I mean, a lot. Sometimes they would go away and they'll come back with like a whole bunch of them. Just like when I say a whole bunch, more than like 5 or 6. All of a sudden, Tesla. Then I wouldn't see hardly any Teslas. So I thought that was odd too. I don't know. Nonetheless, I think I've said what I had to say. What I'm going to do right now for the next 10 minutes is speak about what I experienced in reference to force engaging by that which is unclean here in Annapolis that are lab animals. And this one particular time I was talking to this person who looked to be from El Salvador, this male. I was just I was dealing with I was conversing, but I had to look him in the eye to talk to him because I want to demonstrate how how the unclean spirits that we hear from Mexico, South Central America, and Black Negro. When I say unclean spirits, lab animals, humanoid AI, and other transhuman lab freaks, how they are obsessed with rape, molestation, and of course murder. So I was just talking to him as in there was some form of conversing that wasn't personal. But I had to look him in the eye, and this is what I do. I look people in the eye. All of a sudden, I started to feel my genitals be forced to engage, and I felt pressure and I started to see a visual of him. And he looked to be from El Salvador because El Salvador has a lot of pale skin. people there that have dark hair and brown eyes, very pale skin, as though as you would see a pale skin, not to the degree of a pale skin Asian or so-called Asian from China or Japan, but they are pale skin. A lot of them. They can pass easily for someone that could be from Italy. You how they look. They can pass easily for someone um, that could be Greek. You if you didn't know much about El Salvador, the people, if they're the pale skinned ones, can easily pass. And you for an Italian, Greek, or someone um, that's that's not from El Salvador, but has that pale skin, dark brown eyes, black hair look. And so this person particularly definitely looked like he was from El Salvador, and he was a male. Then after I was conversing, basic, no no friction, I just started to see a visual of him engaging, and my genitals were being attacked constantly in a sexual manner, like literally attacking, like just really trying to make my vagina in um secrete vaginal fluids, and then a feeling of sex, like a feeling of a sexual feeling, like a tingling feeling. And I was like, and the person just kept doing it over and over again. Then that spirit or that lab animal that exists, the transhuman, um, from El Salvador, the weapon, started to say, "We're going to do this to your son, Imani. We're going to do this to Imani." And I also experienced this from that looks to be dark brown skin with the black hair from South America. Also could be from El Salvador or another part of South America that looks like connected to when I hear people say bird people, and all of a sudden this visual appear. I've experienced that as well, to attacking my genitals, and definitely from India, like an Indian from India or Pakistan. um, Mexican. The Mexican definitely attacking the genitals, sending forth sharp pain energy that I hear the accent here in this apartment since the hotel room. Uh, when I first came here to Annapolis, I wasn't here, and so what I'm trying to demonstrate is this has happened too many times, and then the threat, or probably maybe Imani might experience it and don't realize it, of doing it to Imani as well. I've been practicing celibacy for years, physical celibacy. I have not engaged with sex in any form in mental plane um, with anyone besides you, Sheikh Dwayne Bafabé. Imani, he has been practicing celibacy for years. So we do not, and that's mental and physical. So the attacks in the dream, or to massage the genitals, like maybe a few days ago, maybe a week ago, less than a week ago, black Negro female. I was asleep. I was tired. She actually, because I was probably traveling, and she obviously had tucked her hand, because I hear black Negro female accents in the middle of the night, around 2, 1 in the morning, more than one. Tuck her hand and actually looked like she was trying to go in my vagina and cause my vagina to secrete or have an orgasm. When the black Negro male accent was saying brother, and then others, and the female was saying brother. Then I would then on the other side of Imani, hearing a Mexican or a male accent, or the other side, because they're able to teleport the United States weapons. They are the United States weapons, okay, unnaturalized United States weapons. And by them being weapons of unnaturalized military, which 9 times out of 10 they were prepared before they came over here by foreigners in the unnaturalized United States, foreigners such as China, Arab countries, Japan, before they even came over here and crossed over here to this landmass, prepared to be weapons of the mind, weapons of rape and molestation, of murder. The Mexican or the accent that sounds definitely Mexican teleports itself and literally have been, I wake up is right here, or be around Imani when, or a black Negro, same thing, accent, pale skin, same thing, but very more of less of the pale skin. The pale skin usually force engage when I walk out by trying to look at me, male and female, especially those with their dogs. When I say look at me, as in you're gonna look, so people look, but literally when they draw by, look like, and just say words like, for instance, if I'm watching Supernatural and the series, the episode I'm watching, say something about the episode I'm watching as though they're watching the episode with me. This is true. So it's like, what's the coincidence that they are repeating? This is the pale skin with dogs and those without dogs, male and female, when I'm out, repeating some of the episodes that I'm watching of Supernatural. Because I'm still watching. It's so many. I didn't even, I mean, I just started watching it. I had no idea of the information that was given out in that series about what we are truly among in a really genius and brilliant way. It's just like the movie Games of Thorns, Games of Thrones, demonstrating the truth about what we are among, dealing with White Walkers, the dead, Walking Dead, or those that are cloned, and other forms of energies through brilliance, through the movies, through intelligence. So anyway, there I woke up, and then Imani will be making noise like whatever that's walking up and down on the next level up, the fifth floor above us, obviously is somehow teleporting, possibly, because they're doing it like if I get up and walk to the bathroom, they'll start walking to the bathroom or walk back and forth. Possibly, I'm not sure, but maybe they're teleporting down and force engaging with Imani, and and when I wake up, start speaking while Imani is snoring, like we pay money asleep, money making noise. He's asleep. He is really, really asleep, and that which is a predator, a lab animal, keeps force engaging. So a weapon. So this is what we are among on this landmass. This is what children and young adults and elderly with the innocent mind are among. Kids, someone would say kids, because so many, one is a lot, have the telepathic code. So that's one situation. When I first came here, I remember when we were sleeping in a tent, this is in 2016, a black Negro was trying to literally have oral sex. I woke up immediately. I was in a tent here in Annapolis. Then we got the hotel room. I started to hear like different frequencies in the hotel room, a black Negro male, then the word military. Constantly hearing the word military, and then the police, and the police helicopter looks like, or some type of helicopter, United States government helicopter or military helicopter flying over our hotel. I'm changing my clothes. It's hovering over my hotel room, our hotel room. So this is what we are among. And this is why possibly when Moors or of high frequency, whether they're Washita in different Choctaw, Native Americans that are in different tribes that are have the potential to raise their frequency and honor and those that we know of the high frequency of natural law